So this is Forgotten Video Games by the First Gamer. All right. So let's see what we really forgot and let's remember together.
As a YouTuber that covers a lot of lost media content, I've come across time and time again games that are not lost media but are lost from people's memories, completely buried away and forgotten. Today, I'm covering a selection of games that were very popular back in the day but are now rarely mentioned, as if they've been wiped off the face of the planet. Before we get started, a like and sub would be truly appreciated,
Hey,
and
what do
comment
glow
down below
squids do
which
for
games
you?
you'd like me to cover in my next video. By the way, I am looking for an editor to help me with my videos, so if you want more information on that, check the
Right.
video description or skip to the end of the video.
Right,
But
right, of
without further
course.
ado, let's get into it.
Okay. Fun Run. I still have Fun
The
Run.
first
Bitch,
games we're
stop
covering
playing.
today are Fun
I
Run
still have
1
Fun
and
Run
Fun Run 2.
on my computer.
I used to grind
this
these
computer.
games all day when I was a kid, and I honestly hadn't heard about them for like a decade before one of you decided
could
to leave a
never
comment
forget
about them
Fun Run.
that really sent
Like-
me back in time. Fun Run is a series of side-scrolling multiplayer battle racing games in which a bunch of players have to run to the finish line,
Shit
and
used to get
along the
real
way
on
there
this.
are these Mario Kart-esque mystery boxes that give you random power-ups. This can create a lot of chaos in the game and makes it super fun and unique. Looking back at some
Fun Run,
gameplay
I
of
mean,
Fun
shit,
Run,
it's
it was
in the
actually
name,
a lot
like-
more gory than I remember
It's
it
in the
being, and maybe a
name.
little bit too gory for a kid's game. Fun Run 1
Maybe,
and 2 were actually
but this was during the era of Happy Tree Friends. So this was nothing to me. This was low level gore. Like, you feel me? When you go on the internet every day and all you're seeing is Happy Tree Friend clips, trust me, you're good. But honestly, I used to probably think these two were connected. But what was I finna say? Oh no, I used to be on a bus playing this like before school. Man.
be taken down from the App Store and replaced with Fun Run 3 and 4. Now,
Oh,
the
wow.
first two games are not lost media, but since they are multiplayer, a large part of their functionality doesn't work anymore. Fun Run 3 is still quite similar to the
There was
first two
never
games, but the
bots.
fourth game is actually a lot more polished and has a
don't want
3D look,
polished.
unlike the previous games.
It's
Now, I'm
nasty.
sure that the newer games are fun, but to be honest, you
No.
can never match the OGs. So let me know, did you play any of the Fun Run games?
Man. Beat the boss.
Staying on the topic of Fun Run
Is
just
that
a
that
little
white
bit
and black?
longer, I vividly remember a game that was super similar to it, but instead it featured
Oh.
the boss from Beat the Boss as one of
I
the
don't know nothing
characters.
about this,
It was
honey.
also one of these battle running types of games, and I guess they were trying to hop on the trend. I ended up finding this game and it was just called Battle Run.
It just
and it was
looks like a
developed by the
knockoff.
same people who made the Beat the Boss games. This game released in 2013 and was actually up for a few years until it got taken down, but eventually it came back to the App Store in 2022. And has been available ever since. But we're
Okay.
not talking
Y'all
about
can
Battle
go
Run
play Battle
today,
Run.
we're talking about Beat the Boss.
Oh.
But if you haven't heard of Beat the Boss, then you must have heard about Kick the Buddy,
Of
which
course,
this game
of
is basically a
course.
copy of. But if you haven't heard about neither, then Beat the Boss is a stress reliever game
There
in
were
which
a
you
lot
use
of games
any
like
methods
this,
in
and I
your
don't know if this
power
is
in order
healthy.
to torture the boss. And as you deal damage to him, you get money which you can use to buy even more power.
Pause. There was games like this, and before I had an iPad, which was my first Apple device, and I was so proud of. Somebody that I knew had an iPod, and I used to download all the different games on there. Outside of like Kick the Buddy, Cut the Rope, others that I can't remember. That one where you threw you threw like papers at the dude in front of you at like a box office. But that there was other games like stress reliever. There was a lot of stress reliever games. It was like some were so in depth that you could put pictures on their faces of people that you knew. Like, this shit was never healthy. I don't know who was downloading that and was punching niggas, but I didn't know like what I was just trying the apps out. Like, I was just happy to have an Apple product in my hands. But realistically, who was really playing that, y'all are sick people and probably are in jail today.
Or for
Like,
weapons to hurt him
I'll be
with.
honest with
This
you.
genre of games was pretty popular at the time for some reason. Games
People
like
were
Kick the
crazy.
Buddy, Office Jerk, and even
There,
Talking Tom gave you
there.
the ability to
And
just
Talking
beat a
Tom, too, I've
character
been
over
said
and
that.
over and over
It was that
again.
era of just
I'm not sure
beating
what made
people,
people so
but beating
stressed at the
people was
time that they had
popular.
to take their anger out on an in-game character. But this genre of games was really liked. I mean, we're talking billions of downloads. Today, the original Beat the Boss game is no longer available on any app store, but you can quite easily
That's
find
probably
the
for the
APK
best.
or IPA files for the game online.
No need. If you're doing all that, you're crazy. Hungry Shark.
Our next entry are the Hungry Shark line
I've
of games,
never.
more specifically Hungry Shark Evolution. Now this game has more than 500 million downloads on Android alone.
Okay.
It's not even the only Hungry Shark game that was released, so it's safe to say that they've had well over 1 billion views. It's a game in which you play as a shark who needs to eat other fish, crustaceans,
I
and
could've guessed
people in
that.
order to stay alive. There's a bar on your screen that decreases every second
y'all
and that
play
you can
this?
replenish by
I was
eating these
not a part of the
creatures, but
500
if the
mil.
bar runs out, then you lose. This game was super addictive. The higher score you got, the more money you'd earn, and you could actually buy bigger and stronger sharks that could explore more of the map. The shark that you start off with is only able to eat a limited number of fish, which restricts your movement greatly because you'd get eaten if you tried to go to a bigger part of the map where there are fish that are bigger than you. There are also bombs and other obstacles which would instantly kill you if you touch them, unless you got a big enough shark that could just eat them straight up. This was definitely a game that I grinded back in the day on my iPad, and it's definitely one of the best games that Ubisoft produced.
If
It's
I knew
definitely
it
not
existed.
unknown today, since it sometimes appears on the top 200 apps on the App Store, but not many people talk about it, and that's why I decided to add it into this video.
It's just you, but it's okay. I'll let it play. Why is it so dramatic? Tasty Planet?
This is Tasty
Once again,
Planet.
what
It's a
the
game
hell
where you
is that?
basically start as a bacteria that is meant to serve as a cleaning solution. And the way you clean is by eating dirt and other particles. The thing is, the
what's that one
scientists
game
who
called?
invented
It's
you
like
did
Slither,
not realize that you would
but with
get
the
bigger
balls,
each time you
the
ate
circles.
something, and at one point you get so big that you eat the entire world. This game came out around 2011, and some of you, if you're old enough, may remember playing this game. Me personally, I did not play the mobile version as a kid. I actually remember playing the desktop version, which you can find today on those sketchy
fuck it.
game
I'm
websites
finna get on
like
stream and play
Poki.
Slither
PC version,
IO.
which
Let's
is the
bring
one you're
back the
currently
OGs.
seeing on your
Like,
screen,
are they
is
still up?
starting to show its age, but there is the mobile version, which has always been a
That
kind of
used to piss me
remaster
off.
of the PC version. And quite recently, they actually updated it to work on newer aspect ratios. So the mobile version actually holds up quite well to this day. So if you're looking to play this game, I'd recommend playing
That's
the mobile
cool.
version.
Temple Run, nobody forgot
Temple
about
Run
Temple
was
Run.
a
I'm gonna be honest with you.
generational game,
Is it
and
talked
it inspired
about,
many
played
people's
today?
favorite mobile
No,
game
but did
today,
people forget?
which is Subway
No.
Surfers. It was basically an infinite running game in which you're chased by this big monster, like kind of like crow gorilla type thing, and along the way you collect coins and increase your score as much as possible as the game speeds up and you try to not get hit by
Man.
any obstacles. Subway
Once
Surfers
again,
pretty much
these are
took
shit
this
that I used to just
exact
play on the
formula and just
bus.
put it on a Subway, but I'll always know that Temple Run
And I'd
did it
have, like, a
first.
group of people
but even
around
though
me
Subway Surfers stole
watching
a
me
lot
play,
of Temple Run's glory,
that
Temple
pressure,
Run was
man, you
still
can't
wildly
replicate that.
successful, even collaborating with
replicate.
Disney on a Temple Run game with the main character being Princess Merida from
What
the
a
Brave
cash
movie.
grab.
This game had a really cool vibe about it that you don't find in mobile games today, and it'll always have a special place in my heart. It also had a couple of sequels that had some really cool mechanics added, like riding a cart down a cave. So let me know if you played Temple Run as a kid, or any game.
Most people did. But what I do want to say is I'm proud of Temple Run for sticking to its origins. Most games would have updated by this point. I think it still looks like this. It looks exactly like this. They didn't give a new 3D model of the dude running or the monsters in the back. Like, it's the same. That's what legendary
Games that I
players
mentioned
do.
in this video. Also, important announcement, I'm looking for an editor to help me to
Right,
be able
it's the
to
end of the
create
video?
more content
Oh.
for you guys. So if you
Okay.
guys like my
Okay, real. Shout out, what was your name again? First Gamer? First Gamer, I'm pretty sure. You know, go be his editor. But yeah, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I didn't forget none of these. Maybe y'all did. And maybe I just reminded y'all of Fun Run. That's pretty much the most iconic thing on here other than Temple Run. So there's two. There's two ones that really matter, honey. And hopefully, if you did play these middle ones, like comment it. You know, y'all just be a little bit scared to comment. And y'all don't be scared to comment on TikTok though, but that's not the point. Yeah. So these are forgotten video games, supposedly.